I'm delighted to join in contributing to the Salim Digital Archive because Salim is such a wonderful friend and somebody that I really admire greatly. We first met in the late 90s when I was serving as UN High Commissioner for Human Rights and coming to annual meetings of the Organization of African Union, of which he was, of course, the Secretary General at the time. And as far as I was concerned, he was the human face of this impossible bureaucracy and very male-dominated bureaucracy at that. And we used to have bilateral meetings, and I learned how early he had started his diplomatic life and the way his sort of knowledge and experience over so many years helped him as Secretary General to mold and somehow make better this impossible bureaucracy that he was in charge of, where there were a lot of egos and a lot of conflict of views, etc. And he somehow tried to make it as best he could. And I was, of course, pleased when the African Union was formed in 2001 with its gender-balanced African Union Commission. It was better, though still very male-dominated. And in 1999, I was asked to form a high-level civil society group to link with the UN to mark the 10th anniversary of the important Security Council Resolution 1325. And it was going to be mainly women leaders. There were going to be 15 on this group. And we decided we'd have 3 men. And I proposed Salim. And I remember shortly afterwards, Salim found himself in a large meeting of women leaders. He was the only man. And he was half laughing and pretending, but he was also very, taken aback to be the only man in the room. And I said, if you were a woman, you'd get used to being the only woman. But we became very good friends when we both joined the board and prize committee of the Ibrahim Foundation at its beginning, I think in 2007. After Kofi Annan, Salim became the chair of the prize committee. And again, I remember the wisdom with which he guided us as to which retired head of state would or would not receive the prize in any particular year. He never dominated. He usually came in last, but his viewpoint was very telling, and he was very independent, which was what was needed on the prize committee. So I also had the great pleasure of learning how important in his life his wife Amne was. And we became great friends too in the Mo Ibrahim board meetings. And I remember being entertained by both of them in their home in Tanzania when I was on a visit there, and meeting the wider family, as we did from time to time at the Mo Ibrahim meetings. She was such an important person in Salim's life, and he was, I think, very devastated when she died a few years ago. But he has a wonderful family, and he's lucky. He has friends who know that he is a great African, a wonderful example of diplomacy at its very best and very wisest for his continent. And I am proud to have him as a friend.